This is our nightly kick-around of all things World Cup. Peter Welton, Andy Swift, and Lars on World Cup Kick-Around. Brought to you by Pantalones Organic Tequila, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket.
Messi resets, Messi driving in, Messi crossing back, oh, there it is! Lautaro Martinez, stoppage time, go-ahead goal for Argentina!
Welcome to World Cup Kick-Around in our coverage of match day 32 of said World Cup for Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket. Don't forget, you can find out all the details of how you can catch the show via the broadcast, the stream, podcast, and other doodads on our website, thekickaround.com. Hello, I'm here, and to my left, but to your right, he is the world's most interesting man with a few less things to do as the days go by. It is Andy Swift.
Happy semifinal day number 2, Peter.
Happy semifinal day number 2 to you too, my dear friend. And way over there, fresh from FanFest experience today, it is your favorite Norwegian raccoon lover.
Oh.
I didn't mean it that way. And mine, Lars Sivertsen.
Howdy. Just going to let that slide. Don't really have anything to add.
I didn't mean it that way, but
it came across that way.
It came across that way. Okay. I should have thought of that one before I let it spill out. Lars, you went to FanFest today?
I did, because I realized I kind of messed up by not doing it earlier in the tournament. It just never lined up in terms of the timing. I wanted to go and see one of the Mexico games there or somewhere. And I just arrived at the idea that this would be the one that probably would be the liveliest with Argentina versus England. And it was very good. It was a good way to watch the game. I think everyone who's gone there during the tournament for some of the bigger games, they'll have had a good time.
I'm curious, did your host also happen to walk you through the Fair Park area?
Yes.
And then by the Cotton Bowl?
Kind of fascinating, yeah.
Pretty cool place, isn't
Pretty
it?
cool place. A little dilapidated, I must say.
Well, it's really old.
It gave me...
Welcome to a Dallas conversation, Lars.
People might take this the wrong way.
Okay.
But it gave me a sort of slightly post-Soviet vibe, because I've spent some time, as you know, in the post-Soviet space, and those cities will often have, like, things that have been built as a big public work that there maybe wasn't an organic demand for, and then after a while people have just kind of stopped maintaining it and it looks a little bit run down. A lot of these facilities I've seen in those cities, and it was kind of weird to see that same vibe in Dallas.
One Mr. Wolonsky would probably enjoy a conversation with Lars.
Boy, he could teach Lars a thing or two about the history of Fair Park.
But it's like an awesome space in terms of what you could potentially do with it. So like surely this is something I need to...
Yes,
Andy
Lars,
and I laugh at your funny comment because it's a
recurring conversation, is it?
How long have we I'm how old? Yes.
Because it's actually kind of downtown. The European mind is horrified.
It's just one bullet point after.
The European mind is horrified by how many of like the awesome things that are just really far away here.
We should
This is
just
something
use
I really
Lars
struggle
as a
with.
talking
But this
point
is
prop.
actually like really central.
And we're just going to take him to all of these meetings.
I feel like we gave Lars Fair Park talking points
Right.
from 15
Yeah,
years
we
ago.
promise this is not us feeding him this.
That's really
This is
really
on
funny.
his own.
That's very, very funny.
Yeah.
It's way funnier than you realize, Lars. It's incredibly
I understand
funny.
how funny it is.
Your observations kind of track with our entire existence.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to do that. That
was good.
I'm
Enjoyed it a
sure
lot.
was a tremendous amount of fun. Did you have a beer?
I did not.
No?
I had a beer afterwards.
all right.
You got to time these things because I knew like when the game was and when the show was. And you got to like, you want your mood
Pre-show
to be good, so,
beverage.
One pre-show beverage is fine.
Okay.
But like beverage then and then many hours and then show, that's kind of a bit. I don't like that.
Did you
Think
alto
these things through. I'm a pro.
to Fair Park?
Hmm?
Did you alto to Fair Park?
I altoed from there to here.
Oh.
Afterwards. Yes, I arrived in an alto now, which is why I'm feeling so refreshed.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, alto has been Lars's carriage of choice, our good partner for the entirety of the World Cup, as he's been carried around in an Alto so many times. And you should try Alto too, because all of the settings you can set for yourself, all the cars are the same, they're owned by the company, and all of the drivers are kind human beings that are full-time employees.
I absolutely missed the trick by not setting it to yeehaw today. I was in a yeehaw kind of mood, and I forgot about it. Let me do
Is that because
for
of the beer?
No, that was because England lost.
Wow. Dun, dun,
And you also have the cowboy hat.
Take your spider cam with you. No, on the way home, I will set it to yeehaw.
Little bitterness starting to
You can start to see
out.
it. There it is.
I love
There's
watching-
the true
I
Norwegian.
very much enjoyed watching my Twitter feed be full of English people complain about the referee in this game. I was like, yeah, self-awareness isn't really your big thing, is it?
No. I thought the referee was fine.
The pillaging pokes out right
Yeah.
there. Yes, well, very good. You should try Alto as well. It's a great alternative. You can subscribe to the service. You can pay per ride. You can do it all via their app or their website, ridealto.com. Thanks, Alto. So England is out. Argentina goes on 2-1. My favorite thing about this game was that at halftime, there had been 19 fouls called. And for perspective, there were 23 called in the entirety of the France-Spain game.
Yeah, I got numbers here. There were 19 fouls committed and 0 shots on target in the opening half. That is the most fouls without an attempt on target in any half at this World Cup.
Wow, that's
no other game in this tournament did that happen.
So here's the thing. It's hard for me, especially because we're a show that have brought a lot of people into watching the game for the first time, that are new to the sport or only kind of visit it once every 4 years, and try to sell them on the idea why what we saw, not just in the first half, but also obviously in the second half, was actually really entertaining.
So that's interesting because yesterday's game, while it was conducted at a high level, and we hinted at it yesterday, I didn't really connect with that emotionally. Like, I wasn't super engaged. Like, intellectually, I can get why this is good, but I wasn't super entertained. I found this massively entertaining. And I wonder if it's because I'm much more emotionally engaged, because it's England, of course, also because you know the history and the stakes. But I also think my viewing experience of this, it felt like one of those horror films where there's there's not jump scares all the time, but there's just a slow build-up of like dread. This is kind of what this felt like. Not a lot was happening, but you had this sort of constant sense that violence could erupt at any moment and bad things could happen. So it was a steady build of dread, which I found quite enticing.
It was first half was really physical and not a lot of soccer, which is the stats point out, right? But I think that was the game plan. Argentina that was their game. I think they wanted to destroy the game in the first half, just like take England out of it and just kind of muck things up a little bit.
And they did. So more stats. This was the first World Cup match on record, so since 1966, not to have a single shot in the first 30 minutes. And the combined XG in the first half was the lowest of first half in World Cup knockout stage for what they have records for. So this was epochal stuff,
and it
in
was,
terms of anti-football.
Yeah. It was physical, not dirty. Physical.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
a little dirty.
And there was always
okay. That's the thing about Argentina, and we'll talk about this more. But they are so expert at knowing how to ride that line.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And they understand the kind of the analog of how games get called and how they can get away with things, because they almost force a referee very earlier in a game to make a decision. And
I don't know if there's a smarter, soccer smart team, national team.
You'll be excited to learn that the British newspaper The Telegraph has already put up an article with all the 31 dirty tricks Argentina unleashed on England.
Yeah.
They've gone through them.
I would love to read that,
I'm
actually.
not going to lie, their tears are salty brine from my martini, sir.
Oh. Wow.
Would you care to tell us what number one on that list was?
So this is because it's total nonsense. This is why I should make Andy read it, just to see if he can make his little head explode. Because the first one is like, McAllister leaves one on Anderson. Number 2 is Paredes pushes Bellingham, leading to a confrontation. Number 3, Enzo comes in late on Anderson. Like, you're describing a tackle here, lads.
Yeah.
You're describing a tackle.
They're reaching.
It's extremely entertaining.
My favorite, though, was in the second half when a ball went out. And it was, I think, or maybe it was late in the first half, I can't remember, and England was trying to make something happen, and the ball went out for a throw-in over by the Argentine bench, and an English player went over and picked up another ball, and right as he was about to throw it in, they kicked the ball out onto the field, and Elfath just looked at the bench, threw his arms out, and goes, "Guys, what are you doing?" And it wasted a good 15, 20 seconds
sure.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And it was kind of comedy.
But it is like, I should also say, unless I'm completely mistaken, there was a little bit going the other way as well, because when it was still at 1-1, John Stones suddenly needed treatment, even though there was no replay could be found where anyone had touched him. That was very strange.
Yeah, but at one point at the very beginning of when they turned the camera to him, he looked like he was legitimately out of it.
Yeah, this is why I don't want to completely pass judgment, but it looked.
But I never did see the replay that looked like he got bonked.
And of course,
in
the Norway game, we had two of their players barging into each other to stop a play. So they're not beyond this.
Yeah,
Harry Kane buying
See?
cheap free kicks all over the game.
But it's not a criticism. It's something about the Argentines over my lifetime I have come to learn to respect and enjoy.
I think
like
because
fine horror porn movies or
I
something.
think you nailed it on the head, though. They know where to draw the line,
Yeah.
and they just don't go. Like the Uruguayans just cross the line with a bulldozer. They don't know when to stop. But the Argentines, they just...
I also just, I touched on it yesterday. There's something about the English, and I've lived there for 12 years. I have a very advanced love-hate relationship with England as a country. I wonder if it's because of the history, because the fact they have the most powerful league in the world, because they have this sort of relentless sense of entitlement, but they are just natural bad guys for everyone who's not English. And it's something like the fact that the Argentinians, they left a banner on the pitch saying the Malvinas. The
they did.
They left a banner on the pitch saying in Spanish, Las Malvinas son Argentinas. The Malvinas, the Falkland Islands, are ours, basically, which they paraded around and left.
Well, Celso brought that out, by the way.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
they actually left in the center circle. Like most other nations in this World Cup, bringing this sort of political stuff.
From 1982.
Yeah, well, that's pretty recent, really. But I was saying, my point is that this political stuff, as a rule, we don't like this, and I should acknowledge my own hypocrisy here. There are many other political hot potatoes where I would actually be quite sniffy about it if it was brought up like this.
But
I find this very funny. I can't lie. I find this extremely funny. Yeah. Maybe it's because the very stuffy English newspapers are so offended.
Yeah.
But I find this absolutely hilarious.
because also it's the last colony that they just refused to, uncolonize.
I was telling them off the air before we started that because, Google listens to everything, and my YouTube feed today was a 5-part documentary on the Falklands War.
Interesting.
And I watched the first episode. They're all 15 minutes each, and I'm like, I knew what it was at a base level, but that story's fascinating.
Yeah.
Did you not Google it? Is that why?
No.
No, it
This
does
is
listen.
from Big
The-
Brother.
the
Listen.
phones, they listen.
It's all listening.
It's really scary.
Don't say
It's
this.
all listening.
Oh,
It's
my
always all listening. So here we are. Question for you guys. If I had told you at the beginning all of this, we were going to end up with a Spain-Argentina World Cup final, your reaction would have been, Andy.
I can see that, but it's not what I thought.
Lars.
Yeah, no. The
I mean,
same.
he picked Spain to
I
win
had
it.
Spain in the final.
I kind of was hoping you would tell me you were like, oh, that doesn't sound very exciting, or, oh my gosh, that sounds like a really good game.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking a different way.
I shouldn't have surprised you
Yeah.
with the question.
I think it's a good game.
Yeah?
Trying to track back to my own mental work here, I think the very first bracket I did, before I'd really done my homework, I ended up with Spain-England in the final, and I went, no, that doesn't make sense. And then I rejigged it to have a South American team go further, and I think I ended up putting Brazil in there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You had Brazil and Argentina in the
In
semis.
the semis, I
yeah,
think I
right,
did, yeah. So I wasn't completely
So you
off
still
it.
got Spain. Sorry about your England.
But don't apologize
but I
to
think
me.
you had England-Spain, right, in
I-
the final? Or
No,
did you
I
have
ended
it
up with
England-France?
England-France.
You
in
did.
my
Okay,
bracket.
so
Look, at the end of the day, we get something we've never had before. Where you remember, I don't know how many people remember this, but this was actually supposed to be a game played called the Finalissima.
You're right.
Which is the European
It's true.
champion
It's
versus
true.
the Copa champion,
Yeah.
and the game never
Yeah.
happened. And this is the first time in World Cup
Yeah.
history
Yep.
this is actually going to take place.
Oh, my God. I got to redo my quiz then.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
But I want to
okay.
give Andy Swift some credit as well. I'm sorry before we move on, because one of the reasons I did redo my bracket was I've listened enough to Andy speak about this over the years to know that we could never have an all UEFA final in a World Cup outside of Europe. It just wouldn't happen. There's always someone.
But we did in 2010.
Oh yeah, but aside from that,
Okay.
All right, before we move on and talk more about the game, and we'll do that here in a second, it's time now for Andy's nightly World Cup quiz question.
So both Spain and Argentina are heading into the final with a plus 12 goal difference. Okay?
Each?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good for fourth all time. among finalists, among teams heading into a final. There are 3 other teams that were sitting at plus 13 heading into the final. Now, they both have the chance to equal or pass the record for the best goal difference by any champion. That would be plus 14, right? So they're at plus 12, plus 14 is the record. There are 2 teams that hold that record. Coincidentally, both are at 18 goals for, 4 against, those 2 teams at plus 14, those 2 champions. So I'm just looking for you to simply give me those 2 teams.
I think I know one.
Who holds the record for the best goal difference of any champion? There are 2 teams, and they're not pre-1970.
No.
This is not going back to like 1954 Hungary or 1958 Brazil, even though they don't hold the record. I mean, the hint is that it all happened in more modern times, like not pre-1970.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Very good. So there is Andy's nightly World Cup quick quiz question, and we will answer it at the very, very end of the show. We come back, we'll talk more about England 1, Argentina 2, and we'll do it from the perspective of the Argentines next on World Cup Kick-Around. Not only can I find Croatia and Curacao, I can also point you to the Falkland Islands now.
Wow.
On a globe.
You've been reading up, have you?
Well, I was watching YouTube documentaries, and I can point to that now. I feel edumacated.
From watching documentaries, though, they don't really show you where it is.
You'd have to
go to a map. Oh, they
no,
do?
no, yeah,
Oh,
that's how they
part of that. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because they show you all the other islands in the region that England also claimed ownership of at the same time.
The capital. What's the capital of the Falklands, Peter?
Stanley.
Port Stanley.
Tomato.
No, it's Port Stanley.
Okay.
Okay.
It said Stanley on the map they showed in the documentary.
In more amusing English fallout news, so apparently Gary Neville had a go at the Argentine central defenders, which we kind of did, but we implied that they were crazy, not that they were bad. Like I think they're good, but I think they're kind of nuts.
One of them's yours, by the way, and one of them's mine.
Gary Neville said, I don't see how we won't score at least 2 goals. Christian Romero and Lisandro Martinez seem to give away a goal between them in every match.
Man.
Wow.
Okay.
And apparently Christian Romero has said something about how they I hope oh wow, that's great. I hope that when I retire, I'm not as stupid as him, Christian Romero says about Gary Neville. In England, they love talking before games.
Lars, did you have in your bingo card that Romero, Pedro Porro, and Jed Spence would likely be the stars of World Cup semifinals as a Spur fan?
Yeah, for the Tottenham, for people who don't know, the team I support, Tottenham, have finished 17th 2 seasons in a row and been one of the worst defenses in England in recent time. Yet one player from their back 4 will win the World Cup no matter what happens.
By the way, the joke about Stanley is it's Stanley for the English, but the Argentines call it Port Stanley. Yeah, that's why I was. But you didn't buy it, and we didn't.
Oh, I didn't understand that. I didn't get that reference. They didn't talk about that in the episode of the documentary I watched.
So
maybe that'll be in part 2.
Having just made fun of Gary Neville, I mean, I guess we owe them an apology as well, because they did get through the game with no one getting a red card or anything.
They both got yellows, and it seemed a bit dodgy in that moment.
And Lisandro was taken off because he was on the yellows. They had to bring on Otamendi because, he figured one of our defenders are going to get himself red carded. Romero had like the most incredible Romero passage of play where he first had a brilliant defensive interception. He moved out of the back.
The two-touch, the left foot, right touch.
No, that was after. First, he moved up into midfield and made an interception. Then later, he had that little dribble. And then almost immediately afterwards, he got a yellow card for pulling someone down for no particular reason. There was like Romero living his best life. But he didn't get red carded, to be fair to him.
One of my favorite things on Twitter is the stat site Opta, and they have one of these accounts, Opta Joe, and after games, they'll just start spitting out fantastic stats. Here's just some about Messi and Argentina. Messi completed 9 dribbles, which by the time this is also the 3rd time Messi has completed 9 dribbles in a single game in a single World Cup game, which is like a record unto itself. He also had 2 assists in the game. He's the first player from 1966 to do so in a single knockout game. 2 assists and 9 dribbles.
Since 1966.
Since 1966. Next on the list, he has now scored or assisted in 13 consecutive matches for club and country, which is actually short of his 14-game run he did back in 2011, and he's doing that at the age of 39. And then we'll move on to the England stats when we move into the English conversation in the next segment.
Messi, he's pretty good, is what you're saying.
I don't know. I mean, the cross that he put in, which was aided by the fact that Jed Spence had suddenly seized up and could not mark him as tightly when he got out wide. Man, that is the most baller cross you'll see from a guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, he's incredible. And we will get to England's failings, and there are many of them, but I also do want to talk about what the way Argentina raised their game here when they were 1-0 down. And some of that was England backing off. Like I said, we'll talk about that. But I also just think maybe now we have to consider the fact that this is not a coincidence, that they keep putting themselves in situations when they're in trouble, but they keep digging themselves out of it, Argentina, and they keep, like, again, I've made the joke before, it is like the swordfish or the big tuna that's getting close to the boat and just finds an extra gear because it sees the end is coming here, and it just finds an extra gear to go to. I just thought the way they got it together mentally, and they were very good. Yes, I get that England sat back more than they maybe should have, but the technical quality of some of their work on the ball is incredible, and they did something in this game that I wanted to talk about because they started going wide. They started putting crosses in. They've been the most sort of center-focused attacking team in the whole tournament, and I've kind of been going slightly nuts at how they keep trying to thread the needle through the middle. But in this game, when they were really up against it, they started realizing there's a ton of space out wide here, and they started going out wide. And while they don't have like a 6'5" center forward to aim at, they do have some guys who can jump and can be threats in the air. And they started putting in so many dangerous crosses.
McAllister was one.
Yeah, McAllister. But that was like Nico Gonzalez, who came on. He can jump. Lautaro Martinez, of course, scored the winner by the head. You know, they put in a lot of good crosses.
Well, England probably overcompensated for Argentina playing such a narrow game up to this match, and they weren't getting through there, so then they just pivoted to plan B. I also think Argentina just wasting the first half. They just completely muddled the first half and made it a one-half game, which I think benefited them because they don't maybe have 90 minutes in them, right? And then England getting the early goal in the second half gave him a long time to then get those two goals. And what Scaloni said, though, was really interesting. First, he said three things. He said the fans were a big part of this, and you could hear the Argentine fans really outnumbering the English fans by a lot. Then he said, we have a really smart, soccer-smart team. He acknowledged that. Yeah. These guys are very unique in that regard. Yeah. I just let them play. They know what they're doing. I let them go do their thing. And then, he makes the subs and all that. But I think that's very telling of this coach. He relies on, and he's coached this team like this for a bit now. He knows Messi on the field will kind of direct things a little bit, and he just lets them play.
Yeah, that's the fascinating thing about Argentina is they're this weird hybrid of a team that goes through plays and patterns while at the same time feeling like the most city park team out there and beer league team, and I mean that in a very complimentary way, which they're all just out there playing the game, and while at the same time they know the patterns and the passing sequences that work really, really well for them.
And like a lot of beer league teams, they have one guy who's really good, and they know that the most important thing they can do is get it to him as often as they can.
But that's part of being soccer smart and reading the room. They're really good at reading the room. This is the situation now we're in. How do we now react to this? And they're really good about that.
Yeah. And I think, but the one thing that England did actually do, England generally speaking did quite well at sort of gumming up that area in front of those. Messi ended up just drifting wide and putting crosses in instead. Yeah. Like he wasn't able to get his shot off in that sort of 20-25 yard space that he likes to shoot from. So instead he'd say, okay, let's find space somewhere else.
It's funny. They prevented Messi from scoring. So then Messi's like, okay, I'll just get 2 assists instead.
Yeah. And the funny thing, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we talk about England next, is when England needed somebody to start crossing balls in, why is Konsa the guy that's doing it? And because he clearly isn't very good at that. And Argentina had, 4 guys that were dropping absolute lasers in the box. I mean, they hit the crossbar twice.
I was going to say,
Pickford had to make an amazing save to keep it 1-1, I think, or even keep the lead at that point. I can't remember when the save came in the scoreline.
But he had a couple, and they came on either side of the first goal.
Unbelievable. And then the whole sequence for the first goal, which is the Martinez hit, which we've seen him do for Chelsea multiple times. He's got that a lot in him.
Clutch player, by the way, scored Enzo. He scored the winning goal the other day as well.
Yeah, and we've spent all this time just kind of going on and on about how is Argentina any good? And I think what we all kind of have to come to an agreement is, yes, they're very good. They're just very good in this very chaotic way.
It's a very specific way that they're good at.
It's a chaos thing, isn't it?
Well, I do think Andy's point about how they just took one half out of the game is really like an important observation, because what they don't have is a ton of powerful runners in this team.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the midfield of sort of McAllister is not physically extraordinary, like Paredes is kind of slow. You have Rodrigo de Paul coming from the bench, who I like a lot, but he's not a big runner in midfield. You have Messi, who doesn't do anything off the ball. There's a lot of like really intelligent, technically really good midfielders who can't really cover huge distances, and so you don't want this to turn into a running battle, and that's what they were very successful at avoiding.
What about throwing on Simeone to start the game?
Really, that was the counterpoint to that. They wanted a guy who could do some running and to deploy some dark arts. You know,
Boy,
you can
did
tell.
he.
Yeah.
He's knock off the old block, isn't he?
And his family features in the rivalry too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's a knockoff.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just like apple doesn't fall far from the tree or whatever that is.
Yeah, his dad was the one that was fouled when
Against
Beckham got the red.
Yes, 100%.
I think that's smart coaching, though, again, from Scaloni. Scaloni doesn't get a ton of credit because they're not a team that plays with this super clever system that the tacticos can digest and explain to us. But I think recognizing that with the emotion of this game, getting Simeone in Jr. to like annoy the English for as long as he can without getting red carded, I think that's good.
Yeah.
That's good management. Love that.
We'll talk about this at the end of the show when we preview the game against Spain, but I do wonder how much of Argentina's kind of chaos is actually hard for modern organized teams to play against, because they're so used to another organized kind of pattern-based team.
Or one to bow down to it.
Right, yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So there you go. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk about how England blew it and listen to what Thomas Tuchel has to say next on World Cup Kick-Around.
Why are you looking at me?
What are you two doing in there? Are you trying to...
Well, they need world peace. They're all mad.
We have genius
slapping
among
people
us, Peter.
on the field.
What are you doing, Peter?
They're gonna get us in a fight outside the parking lot by a bunch of English fans.
No, that's go to the Londoner if you need that.
This is genius. This is John Lennon.
Okay.
Like one of the greatest gifts England has bestowed upon humanity.
That's why you pay Jay the big bucks.
I guess Lars can be our bodyguard.
I don't know what you're talking about, Peter.
By the way, Messi has dedicated the win to somebody named Diego Maradona.
Oh.
Just in case anybody was wondering.
You know Maradona,
in
the Maradona who had been scoring those goals in the lead up to the final in 1986. What did he do in the final? He just dished a couple of assists.
Of assists here and there.
He didn't score.
So we are talking Argentina 2, England 1, and we were just going through Argentina's kind of point of view, and now it's time to take a look on the dark side. England, going back to Opta Joe, 12%. That's the average possession after Gordon scored the goal. From the 55th to the 92nd minute, England had the ball just 12% of the time.
It's unbelievable. There's another stat that you saw on TV. I didn't see it, but it was the momentum meter, whatever that's called.
We'll talk about that in a second. England now have been eliminated every time they've faced a top 10 ranked nation in the knockout stage since 1988. And there are only 2 occasions of a team scoring first in the semifinal but not reaching the final in a World Cup in this century.
Wow.
And both of them are England in Croatia versus Croatia in 18 and this game today.
That's a semifinal loss in 18, a semifinal loss, a World Cup loss in 2026, and then in the Euros in the final, 2020 and 2024.
Lars, you lived in England for many years. You have many English friends. You clearly are enjoying their defeat today.
A little bit too much, probably. I don't know.
But I'm curious, just overall.
Some of them sent me very nice messages after Norway went out, and
now you feel bad.
I'm not being quite as nice as return. But guys, so you're the villains.
We'll listen to Tuchel's explanation here in a bit. But everybody has arrived, even people who don't watch the game. In fact, a very old friend of mine, Lex, sent me a tweet saying, we call this prevent defense in American football, and we all know that doesn't work.
Right, because, Peter, why?
Because
it prevents you from winning.
That's right.
The only thing it does is prevent you from winning.
And even my friend Lex, who knows absolutely nothing about this game, was smart enough to identify that. So I'm curious, from your perspective, knowing everything you know about English football, how did this transpire?
Yeah, it's strange. I'm surprised that Thomas Tuchel did this. The only thing I can think of is that he thought, well, this worked in Mexico. Let's get the band back together. But I just thought in Mexico they were down a man, so that kind of made sense at the time. Whereas in this game, it's absolutely baffling to me, because the one thing that Argentina, what we've seen from Argentina, is they don't like it when people run at them. They don't want it to become a back and forth type of game, because they don't have the legs for that. This is what the Swiss were really doing to them in that second half before they got a man sent off. And England have a bunch of good runners in this team. And Tuchel just kind of started taking them off, which is like, excuse me? And I just thought they really played to Argentina's strengths by letting Argentina have the ball, letting them use the technical quality they have and the intelligence to poke around until they found an opening. In a situation where, like, both their center halves were on yellow cards. Run at them.
Yeah.
Bring the guys who can run with the ball and make life difficult for them. Instead, he went no wingers, 5 at the back, and just... I don't get it.
It's like the opposite of the soccer smarts that the Argentines have and read the room.
Yeah.
They totally did not read the room.
Yeah. What are our strengths and the other people's weaknesses? What do they not want to happen? Can we make that happen? It was like they didn't think of that at all. And they let Messi dictate. I know they didn't let him shoot too much from that sort of area where he wants to shoot, but they let him just trundle around and kind of find openings and just control the game. This is the one thing you cannot do against this Argentina team.
So in the post-game press conference, some smart journalist just kind of asked the open-ended question of, we'd like your thoughts on the game.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a very close match. I was happy the way we played it. Very close match, like I said, and we had the moment and took it to our advantage, went 1-0 up. I think that's what happens in these kind of matches that are totally even. I think at that point of the match that it was also deserved, not undeserved, that we take our moment and go 1-0 up. Unfortunately and strangely enough, it marked then a complete momentum switch in the game. Argentina played with more risk, played with more rhythm, played with a feeling maybe that they have nothing to lose anymore, which freed them up and hold us back, because we obviously played suddenly with a feeling that we have a lot to lose. So we dropped immediately back into a deep block, which is also not a problem, but we could not. We struggled to stay active in that deep block, and we struggled to defend crosses in the deep block, and we struggled to get physical on the runners into the box. But it was difficult for us. We could not find any duels. We could not find any ball possession anymore, couldn't get the momentum back at all. And they took advantage of that and won the game.
That is the most I mean, he paints himself into a corner and essentially cops to everything that is now going to be the criticism of him coming out of this game, is allowing Argentina to suddenly feel like they had the ownership of the game in the way that they... I mean, it's so crazy to me, because I'll just take credit for it. A lot of the reason why I really pushed for the idea that I thought England would win this World Cup was because of Tuchel. Because Tuchel is a guy that knows how to manage these situations in these types of circumstances. And I just was sitting there watching the game, and the meter that you talked about earlier is crazy. You know, we have that saying, goals change games. Well, it's not supposed to apply against you when you score the goal.
Yeah, and the way it did so acutely.
Yes, on the meter, it's all these momentum meters. The instant Gordon scores the goal, the rest of the meter is nothing but Argentina until the end of the game. And I've just never seen something like that before. It was quite crazy.
So, I think, Lars, you were talking, maybe it was you, Peter. I think it was you, Peter, that maybe what England needed was a foreign coach because he wasn't going to get caught up in all the other issues that they've had historically, right? The hump they can't get over, because he was just going to go and look at this from a very analytical point of view.
Yeah, it just was a Tuchel specific thing. The fact that he was German was more ironic than anything else.
Because you know what stat stays undefeated now through this World Cup also? That no World Cup champion has ever had a foreign coach. And we will continue with that stat.
That's crazy.
Going back to World Cup 1.
I'm not sure England lost the game because of Tuchel's
No, of course
passport,
not.
though,
But it's just a funny
it's an
stat.
interesting thing. What I think is interesting from that clip is that he talks about them dropping back as a thing that just happened. And I'm actually not being flippant here. I think that's interesting because that suggests that he didn't actually want that. And I think that's a thing. But then the follow-up question, if there were any vaguely tactically savvy journalists in the room, I think the logical follow-up question to that answer, and I don't know if this was asked, is why we're not able to affect this? Because there are things you can do to try to push up more. If we're struggling to keep the ball, you can bring on another midfielder to try to keep possession a little bit more. His reaction to the team dropping deeper than it sounds like he wanted them to was to go 5 at the back, which will not help you. That will make you even deeper. You have no outlets now. You have no wingers. You left Bellingham and Kane as a 2 up front and a 3-man midfield in front of a 5. When you then regain possession, you can't hit it wide and hit them on the flanks where they're mega vulnerable.
Yeah, all they could do is just return possession.
You have no outball anymore, right?
All they could do is give the ball back to Argentina as far away from the goals.
I can just about accept that Tuchel was on the sideline thinking, damn, I don't want us to be this deep. But his choices then makes that even worse.
This is really interesting because Scaloni understands that his players can read the room and lets them do his thing, and Tuchel couldn't do that with his guys, right? He could.
He wasn't because I think the really interesting point, like I said, is that it does sound like he didn't want them to defend like this, but that for me puts an extra spotlight of what changes did you make to try to get them higher up the field, and I do not think going to a back 5 with no wingers on the field makes any sense. It
was weird putting Ivan Toney and Marcus Rashford on after you lost the lead and you've got 3 minutes of added time.
That's just desperation because you're going to get the ball forward. So that's not really anything. But I'm more interested in how they lost control of the game and why they weren't able to do anything to get it back.
That's what I'm saying. Putting people putting options to get the ball forward earlier in the game, even before they lost the lead, to help them retain possession would have been, you would think, the smart thing to do at this point, instead of ceding more and more ground to Argentina, which is all they wanted.
Right.
So I think it's more the midfield is the problem, that you abandon the midfield a little bit. You take off Gordon, who's an important outball for you, to bring on Konza because you want an extra centre half. And then eventually Reece James is probably finished because he can't play 90 minutes, so you bring on Dan Burn for the Alamo defence. But then Nico O'Reilly for Declan Rice is a sub that happens. If you're freaking out because you can't keep the ball and you want to get some kind of control back, where's Abera Eza in this situation? He's a technical player who can keep the ball. Get Mainu. Mainu hasn't been involved at all, but so probably not an option. But he's a player who can do that. But Madueke to run at them, their defenders are kind of slow and they have cards. Have Madueke running at them on the counter. Bukayo Saka, maybe he wasn't fit at all, but he's someone who can play on the ball a little bit. It's like he has identified the problem. Oops, we're getting too deep. But he's not doing anything that's going to fix that.
Yeah.
Where do you guys now sit with his roster choice for this World Cup, now that it's all said and done?
Yeah, meaning the players he left out?
Well, the players, his decisions on the 26 man roster.
I don't think the problem was the players he was missing today. It was the players he chose to utilize in this particular game and the manner he chose to use them.
I would be inclined to agree with that.
Yeah, but is he going to get heat for?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
but
sure.
That's the England manager. Like, if you don't win the World Cup, everything you've done is wrong.
Yeah, the question, he's already being asked if he's going to be still the manager, and he's like, I got a game left, to be honest with you guys. I don't know. I'm supposed to be here through the Euros, and I would love to do that, but we'll see what happens. I don't know, Lars, do you think he keeps his gig?
It's so strange because I don't understand why they gave him a new contract. It was so odd. They hired him, a manager who has a well-earned reputation. I mean, he won the Champions League with Chelsea. Like, he's a good coach. He's done good things before, but he has a history of falling out with people and not staying anywhere for a long time. So they hired him for a short, sharp stint. Take us to the World Cup, try to win the World Cup. I thought that was smart. But then in February this year, suddenly they extend his contract after the Euros. So I was like, hang on, why?
That was weird.
Why would you do that? Because unless he wins the World Cup, a lot of people are going to want him gone. And I think when they go out in such a way that is going to be pinned by a lot of people on him, I think that's tricky. Yeah. So I'd be very surprised if he stays. Like, the early indications are that they want to keep him. That's what's being briefed right now, but I'm not convinced.
Hey, are we going to do a segment and preview the third place game between England and France?
How about we do that on
Monday?
On Saturday?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
No, we should, because we haven't,
it was a joke.
In my sort of enthusiasm for throwing in, joke World Cup songs, I completely neglected to make us play the Dictator Mbappe song. We have to play that while we
play
still
that
have
on Saturday before the
game.
Hey,
it'll be England and France playing in the U.S. on the 250th anniversary of the U.S. to see which country is third.
Very good. Very, very good.
Wonderful. Well,
so you guys are supporting France then, I guess, historically speaking. That'll be...
I am.
I'm just hoping it's not the last time we see Kane and his Skechers for England anytime. Okay. Anyway, we'll take a break.
I'm wearing
when we come
Skechers
back
right now.
Let's take a
Are we
peek
calling this the General Lafayette Derby?
At the unbelievable reality of Spain and Argentina, two teams that failed to beat Cape Verde in 90 minutes. Next on World Cup Kick-Around.
Do you know what this is, Peter?
Pretty music.
It's tango.
I knew it was a tango. I just didn't know which specific tango.
Oh.
Do you tango, Andy?
I do not know how to tango, but my... Yeah.
You have tango?
I know. I just kind of thought that was something Andy might have.
No, I've been pressured by my my wife to take lessons with her.
I will be honest and say I am surprised to find out that you, in fact, have never tangoed.
Yeah,
that's an Argentinian thing.
If anybody in my life
person,
has tangoed, it would be Andy Swift.
You know this is an Argentina thing. It's their dance.
I know.
Yeah.
You are my most international friend.
Okay.
Even more so than Lars.
Sometimes you have to draw the line.
Although Lars is approaching. He's getting closer to you with all of his gallivanting and changing of abodes and things like that.
Good for Lars.
By the way, the Telegraph is reporting that the FA is backing Tuchel and remaining in position.
The famous.
The Telegraph also. Let me just read one of the 31 dirty tricks here. In the 36th minute, Lionel Messi wriggles his way around Kane and another England player before Anderson clatters into him to get the first yellow card of the game. That apparently was a dirty trick. I think that's just football happening.
Well, let me also point out that was one of the most unbelievably messy moments. I mean, the guy is 39 years old. I know exactly what that sequence is because he is getting mugged. He gets away from one or two guys with absolute power and pace and control on the ball, and it's so clear he's getting ready to just make a messy run at goal. Two guys, Elliot Anderson in particular, just absolutely have to take him out just to save it.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, he's 39.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's
crazy.
I mean, if a 29-year-old did that, you'd be marveled at it.
No, I know he is concerned. He's picking his moments. That's 100%. How he's doing it, and he's smart about it.
This also leads into the question that I have is maybe all of this late-game chaos by design? Because Messi saves it and then just goes full pedal to the metal at the end of the game?
I think they would rather just win outright.
Maybe they love the drama, Andy.
No.
Maybe they know how to get ratings.
By the way, I did get a text for my wife. We tangoed in Argentina. She's like, hey, how did you forget?
I knew this is a man who has once tangoed.
Sorry.
Thank you, Heather.
One thing I did enjoy, so... the Athletic has hired a former Premier League referee to talk about refereeing stuff for them, and he explained during the game that Harry Kane is in the referee's ear as usual. He's very bad at it, though. He just asks sarcastic leading questions. It often has the opposite effect because the ref just gets fed up with him.
That's
so
Harry.
Apparently, Harry Kane is very sarky with the referee and very bad at influencing them.
We didn't talk about the referee.
Yeah, Elfath.
Yeah.
I thought was great.
So
today.
I thought he was really good. I guess the Brits.
The Brits were unhappy, but they're always unhappy. I'm sure there were like individual moments that you can quibble with.
Oh yeah.
But
okay.
I just think actually getting through that game without it just getting completely out of hand is all you can really hope for.
You know what was key was those first 5 minutes when it just looked like, okay, this is going to be a war.
Yeah.
He settled things down rather quickly. I think he handled those 5 minutes well.
Yeah, there was a very early moment in the game, and I can't remember if it was Simeone or if it was Fernandez that pushed over Bellingham with a single arm shove, like in the first 2 minutes of the game. And Elfath stopped the game and called that player over and was like, look, I'm not having. And then another foul happened a couple minutes later, and he pointed at that guy, a second Argentine guy, and a third, and he said, we're done with this.
That's good man management.
Very good.
Stu also mentioned that during warm-ups, when they all go, the referees warm up when the two teams warm up. They use the center stripe of the field to warm up in. That he took that time to also go talk to players from both teams individually, just kind of, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. We're assuming that's. I think that's good man management
too.
It
is.
Yeah.
Because
he read the room. He knew this game could get
He's
out of
not
hand.
well loved in MLS circles
No, but
necessarily.
it's a different mentality.
It is. It is very different, and I'm very proud of the fact that it was an American crew today that got called up to do this game, and I thought they did a bang-up job.
Go Conquer
Lars is over there having a good giggle at something. I'm not sure
I'm
what it is.
just reading these dirty tricks that are just football happening.
He's still reading the
English
31.
Oh, my God, I love these guys. They're so funny.
Well, you and I will be home, and he'll be in the
Yes.
studio still reading the 31 dirty tricks.
So Saturday is the third place game, England, France. It will be, will both national teams ask if they can call up their U23s?
Well, the good thing is that it'll be inside and the air conditioning and the weather will be great.
No.
Where's the game?
It's in Miami. On a hot summer.
Really? What, the runner-up final?
It's in Miami.
Of course. Why wouldn't you put that indoors? Oh, my God. This organization, man.
It is in Miami.
It's almost like they're bad on purpose.
Well, by the way, weather at kickoff is a good thing there's an app for this. The temp is supposed to be 91 with a humidity at 50%, and the wet bulb label is as dangerous.
Oh, wow.
So even the game that literally no one cares about, they've managed to put in an unnecessarily inconvenient home.
So the final is on Sunday, 2:00 in the Swamp.
What's the what are you reading there?
84 with a humidity at 31 and wet bulb comfortable.
Is it going to rain?
9% chance of rain at this moment. We're 3 days away, so it's a little early to get
Are
to.
you going to give us updates on a daily basis?
Well, you could just check the weather app that I built for everybody for free.
Yeah.
No.
Just start charging for these things, Peter.
I like to give World Cup gifts to the world, Lars.
I would have paid
Plus,
50 cents for your weather app.
I just don't want to have to deal with the hassle of something screwing up and then somebody suing me over it.
True.
By the way, if Mbappe plays the third place game and he scores, this counts as World Cup goals.
Oh, that's right. I didn't think about this.
So it's still Messi versus
Kane too.
Kane, right? Exactly. Had Argentina lost, third place game would have had a significant. I think it would have had significant more attention because it could have been Messi's last World Cup game.
Yeah,
but it's not the case. So
but the final could be Messi's last World Cup game.
Yes, but it's a final. So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it is Spain and Argentina. Again, if you had told me at the beginning of the tournament it would be Spain and Argentina, from an emotional standpoint, not knowing what we know because we've seen the games, the 8 games play out for each team, I think I would have been really into the idea of these two teams playing against each other. But the context that we have now, I'm interested in because of this whole thing about Spain being this very controlled, non-chaotic thing versus what we now know is the pure chaos.
It's so weird we're calling Argentina a chaos team, right? It is weird.
They kind of are, yeah.
They are. I'm saying, like, if we would have said this, we're going to call them the chaos team, we would have been like, Argentina? but they are.
I mean, before these two semifinals took place, I was trying to think of all the different permutations we could get of games, and I don't think anybody thought Spain and Argentina. That was probably the least likely result, and of course that's the one we get. But the more I think about this game, the more excited I get for the potential for it to be kind of off the rails.
Lars, Horseshoe of Doom.
I think
they'll keep the ball.
I think so.
So now how does Argentina, because Argentina, they need the ball.
They do.
They don't counterattack well.
No.
So how does Argentina solve this issue?
I think they foul them a lot.
Yeah.
I have a feeling
they do a first half of this game.
I think it's two halves of the first half.
Yeah. I think they're going to foul them a bunch and try to stop it from being a coherent football match and then hope there'll be some messy magic.
Yeah, set piece.
I do wonder if it could be another one for Giuliano Simeone because he can run a little bit. He's not the best player on their roster, but he can run.
And he hasn't run a lot.
Yeah, so he should be pretty fresh.
Yeah.
No, you're right. They're going to have to try to find some kind of counterattacking threat. But I think they're going to have to interrupt the horseshoeing, and I think it'll be foul-tastic. I don't think the Spain are as easy to rattle as the English, maybe, but I definitely think this could be a lot of Iberian histrionics.
Well, I also think that it's not like Spain is absent in the practice of the dark arts themselves.
That's true.
So I do. This is going to be a fascinating conflict of two. I mean, it's
spy versus spy.
Yeah.
But I've learned my lesson now in terms of underrating Argentina. What they're doing is maybe not conventionally good, but it's certainly difficult to deal with. The fact that they can always find that extra gear.
They're narrowing the game to 20, 30 minute blocks and defining the game in that time.
We know that Spain have games where they struggle to score, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not impossible that this is one that they keep at 0-0 or 1-0 or something right towards the end, and then suddenly they push the button and things happen.
I also think the other thing that is going to be fun to watch is the thing that Argentina has done so good throughout this tournament is defend collectively and recover and fight in ways that I think they're going to make it a lot harder on Spain to do the horseshoe thing and the possession thing because they're so good at closing space down and making things difficult.
Cutting lanes, you mean?
Just that, or just not letting. I just think they're going to make it harder. Yes, harder for Spain to do the thing that they've France just let Spain do too much. Yeah. And Argentina I don't think is going to.
The issue though is weather. So that's a little, and this I think this benefits Spain. I think the weather will benefit Spain.
Because Spain has largely just been playing in air conditioning or good temperatures, they haven't acclimatized to this in the same way that maybe.
Yeah. I do think I would expect Argentina actually to sit quite deep here because what they don't want to do is have to cover big spaces because they don't have that many big powerful runners. So I think the horseshoe of doom would be present.
But what I was going to say is that what is Spain's weakness in this tournament?
Putting away their chances, I would say. So that's what I'm thinking. It could be one of those that's 0-0 until late in the game.
It's a chronic Spain issue. It's just, they create a lot of chances. They just their hit rate is low. Rodri versus Messi. Yeah, that's going to happen, right?
That's the game. So this might be one of those where Messi starts wandering and goes out wide or something
like
instead
today.
Because they had to escape the Rodri thing. Because Spain's, let's see, where's the Spain's defensive? I guess Pedro Porro is a weakness defensively, you'd say. So you'd think someone Alvarez down Argentina's left, probably. Pedro Porro is. It's been fun to see him shine in an attacking setting, but he's not the best one-on-one defender. He can be a little sleepy, as Tottenham fans will know. So maybe down the left flank is somewhere Argentina's going to have to try to find something.
It's going to be great. It is Sunday at 2 o'clock, and we'll spend a lot more time previewing that game on Saturday. And we also have a preview show on Sunday before the game, a pregame show starting at noon on Sunday. The game kicks off at 2, and then we have a post-game after the final whenever it's done on Sunday evening. I do want to just real quickly put in a comment that the only thing I wish England had won for, we could have spent more time talking about how awesome Jed Spence's tackle was in the box.
That was cool.
That was the best tackle of the tournament.
Yeah, that was the highlight of that game in a way.
It was such a good recovery and tackle.
Yeah.
Absolutely wiped him out.
Yeah.
Very good.
Stunning.
Good stuff. Okay, what else?
All right. Nope. I guess that's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Thanks, Jay.
Sorry, Jay and Andy. It's time for the answer to Andy's nightly World Cup question. I think I know the answer to this,
You
too, by
do?
the way. I think.
There's two teams.
Yeah?
That have they're tied for the best goal difference of any World Cup champion at plus 14. They both have 18 goals for and had 4 scored against them. None of them were pre-1970. So, Lars, do you want to start with Peter, or do you want to start first?
I want to say the one I think it is.
I think you have one.
So I think
sure.
one of them is Germany 2014, because I think that Brazil game will have juiced
the
numbers.
7-1, right?
Right.
Yes, correct.
But
So that's right?
That's
yes,
one of
that
them.
one, but
Okay.
it's the other one that's really the one that we want here.
So, and you said this is before what turn? No.
Nothing before 1970. It's all after 70. I'm not looking for like the 58 or 54 Hungary, Tied at 14, plus 14 with Germany
like
2014.
It makes sense for it to be in the modern era, post 32 teams, because it would have been difficult to get to that many goals in the previous format.
See?
Is it Spain in 10?
Are you asking, saying?
Okay, is that your suggestion?
Is that your answer?
That's my final answer.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't
they
think
were one of the worst goal
they
differences
didn't score
ever.
goals.
Yeah,
They were just
they
never
didn't score.
I was running with the whole
So that's
team
one
that
of-
played today.
That's one of the worst
thing.
answers you.
Okay.
No, that whole
I don't know. Can
jerk
I just
about
just
it?
before you say the answer, can I throw out just as a guess?
No, you got to give your final answer.
No, but that's going to be my final answer. I don't know, but let's just say France 2018.
No.
Okay.
It would be Brazil in 2002. Widely considered probably the best side in modern times to win a World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one. I'll take
I
that.
Yeah.
suck at this game.
So yeah, Lars got one. You got half.
also
You
got
both
one,
got
Peter.
half
That's not so
seeds.
bad.
Half
Germany was
seeds.
too
Let's
easy.
look and see where Spain is. They would be in
Low-hanging
last.
fruit often tastes
They would
the
have the
sweetest.
worst goal difference.
Stop it.
I'm saying.
I
Spain
thought you were my
2000
friend.
So I'm just.
been a long
You
summer.
pointed it out. Thanks.
plus 6. Worst goal difference of a champion.
All right.
Back to 19.
I think it's a good thing that we are not on again until Saturday. Thanks to
I'm ready
Dixon
for
for
more. I've enjoyed
producing.
this episode.
Thank you to Jay for tickers and running the board. Again, we are off until Saturday at 2 o'clock. P1s will talk to you then on the ticket.